Hello, can you hear me? Good. You know, there have been Jews in Greece for over 2,000 years. There have been Jews in Greece for over 2,000 years after the Romans burnt Yerushalayim and expelled the Jews. They went to Rome, they went to all sorts of places, but many ended up in Greece, and they're called the Romagnotis. It's a much earlier settlement than the Sephardim, who, when they were expelled from Spain, that was only 500 years ago, or a little bit more. And that's when they showed up. The thing is that the Sephardic culture was such that they sort of overtook everybody wherever they moved. They won, you know. If it had been a war, they would have won. But it was a war of cultures, actually. And the culture of, remember, the Romagnotis was 2,000 years ago. On the other hand, there are still synagogues at Romagnoti. In fact, I saw one in Yanina last October. And there are Romagnotis who hold on to the tradition. Nevertheless, the majority have become Sephardim. And yet there are so few, to say majority is almost as an insult because of what happened in World War II. And we call it the Holocaust. I prefer the Hebrew word Shoah. By the way, Holocaust, do you know what it means? Right, it means actually completely burned. Holokautos, and it's Greek. Holokautos, which is, by the way, a language that the Jews have spoken and even prayed in Israel in ancient times. They would pray in Greek. Why? It's a long story. It has to do with Alexander. And I'm not a good talker, so I'll try to sing, and if I can't sing, we can all go have lunch. I brought my friend with me. Well, excuse me. What are we doing first? Okay, we don't need this right now. This is a piece of Sephardic liturgy that is very famous, and it's done Yom Kippur. It's a piyut, and it says, and it's all these, it's an adoration of God. You know, all these things that we attribute, these are all obviously things that we want to have. Chanun v'rachum, you are merciful and you are kind. Chatanu lefanecha, we have sinned before you. Rachem aleinu, please forgive us. Chanun v'rachum, chatanu lefanecha, rachem aleinu. Adon aselichot bochen levavot gole amukot dover tzedakot chatanu lefanecha rachem aleinu. Hold it. You have to learn these words and sing it with me. Come on, it's getting boring here. You can also say la 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 la, or chatanu lefanecha. Almost, you guys are good. But chatanu lefanecha. Rachem aleinu. We have sinned before you. Please forgive us. Okay. Chatanu lefanecha rachem aleinu. Chatanu lefanecha rachem aleinu. Hador beniflaot vatik benechamot zocher berit avot חוקר כליות, חטאנו לפניך, רחם עלינו. חטאנו לפניך, רחם עלינו. טוב ומיטיב לבריות, יודע כל הנסתרות. כובש עוונות, לובש צדקות. חטא רחם עלינו, חטאנו לפניך, רחם. מלא זכיות, נורא תהילות, סולח עוונות, עונה בעת צרות. חטאנו לפניך. A little more energy, please. חטאנו לפניך, רחם. פועל ישועות, צופה עתידות, קורא הדורות, רוכב ערבות, שומע תפילות, תמים דיות. חטאנו לפניך, רחם עלינו. Last one. רחם עלינו. Yeah. Okay, eventually we will all warm up. Okay. מה זה? This is a Lechadodi. This is another, you would think, where were the Sephardim? You can hear me now, right? Where were the Sephardim expelled to from Spain? Portugal. Okay, that was the closest. It was easy to guess that one. By the way, were they expelled from Portugal? Yes. You bet your life. Okay, but some ended up in Holland, as a matter of fact. There was a different kind of trip. And they formed the Spanish-Portuguese tradition, which is quite different from the other Sephardim. But there was Eastern, the ones that ended up in Eastern, and then the ones that ended up in the West. In fact, you know that the Pasha of Istanbul, or of maybe the whole country of Turkey, sent a letter to Queen Isabella, who had kicked them out, thanking her for her mistake. This is a true story. So, another place they ended up is Morocco. And Morocco speaks a kind of a different Ladino, and I don't know it. So we won't do that right now. But what I am going to do, I have a friend who's a Chazan in Toronto, and he's a Moroccan. His name is Aaron Ben Susan. And Aharon wrote this version of Lecha Dodi. And many of you have heard it. In fact, Chazan, do you do it in your shul?
Not yet.
Okay, you're about to, right? Okay. All right. Lecha Dodi. The tune. I want you to sing everything tonight. I'm lying. But this one anyway. Lecha Dodi. Migarat kala. Bene Shabbat. Nekabela la 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 lecha Dodi. That's the key. Oh, good. Pene Shabbat, Nekabela. Let's go. Lecha Dodi, Nigarat Kala. Pene Shabbat, Nekabela. La 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 lecha Dodi, Nigarat Kala. Pene Shabbat, Nekabela. Shamor veZachor v'dibur echad. Ishmianu el Lekap Migdosh Melech Ir Melucha Kumitzei Mitoch Afecha Rav Lo Shevet Be'emek HaBacha Hu Yachamol Alaychem. Hey! Rhythm! Neshama Nekabela La Nekadoti. Very good. Itoreri, toreri, kiva orech, umiori, ori, shidaberi, vodat Hashem, alayich biglahe lechadori, digara, benishata, nekabela lechadori. This is what you do to warm up, you understand? It's good for you. Yamin usmol tiferotzi vetashem ta'aritzi al yadish ben hartzi ben ismecha ben na'ila. Let's go! Lechadoti ikerakana hey! Ben ishata kabela lechadoti ikerakana ben ishata. Now we all stand up. Everybody up. Please. Face the doors. Let's welcome the Sabbath bride the way we do on Friday night. Boive shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, tovetza olam, togi mulei, hamse kula, boi chala, and this way, boi chala, lecha todi, igarat chala. You may be seated. Lekabela la la lekadodi, igarat chala, bene shabbat, lekabela. Gracias. Well, that's our program today. Thank you very much. I had hardly any sleep last night. The noise in the hotel room, terrible. So I was thinking, oh, yes, terrible. You know, I was once at Symphony Hall in Chicago, of course. And, who's the famous soprano? The most famous American soprano today? Not Beverly Sills. Today. Who?
Renee Fleming.
Renee Fleming, of course. Who else is there? Renee Fleming was supposed to do a recital at 3 p.m., to which I went. Oh, another chazan. How many chazanim we have here? And she got up, and the story went that she told us. She says that her plane was not only delayed, but she was kept on it for about 4 hours. She didn't get to bed till 4 in the morning, and she really didn't sleep. And this was a 3 o'clock recital. This woman opened her voice, and I should be ashamed to be out here because this, oh my goodness, oh my gosh. So there are no excuses in performance. That's all good. Okay. Oh, I got this one now. Good. I love this song. And if I had a guitar, I have a sheet, I have a chart. That's very easy. I saw him come in with a guitar. What am I going to do? Come on. Chazan Jeremy Stein. Y'all know him? When I tell you this is not rehearsed, I'm talking real. I mean, he had no idea. Okay. Okay, here. I actually know this by heart, so you can... look at that. No, it doesn't say nauseous, nauseous. It's noches, noches. It's a beautiful song. Noches, noches son de enamorar. Nights, nights, they are made for love. Who can say no? Okay, dati, dati, whatever you want to play. A little, maybe a chord. Noches, noches, buenas noches, noches son de enamorar. Noches son de enamorar. Is that the right canon? Ay, que noches, la mi madre, que no son de arrivar, que no son de arrivar. Dando vueltas por la cama, como el pez, como el peixe en la mar. Como el peixe en la mar. Aman, aman. Thank you. That was not bad for never seen this before in your life. Very good. Thank you. I gave you a rest. Isn't that amazing? Fantastic. It all works out. All right, I have too many songs here. By the way, somebody said it was a cantorial concert. No. I am a cantor singing a concert. That is true. But most of these songs are really beautiful songs from the East, from the Sephardim. This is beautiful. So who wants to do a duet? No one. Okay, forget it. A lot of people think that the tune that they hear is so familiar and they can't figure it out where it is. Well, I can tell you very easily that everybody thinks that this song comes from La Traviata. You know, Addio del passato. Well, the problem is that this song was written before La Traviata. And it is a very, very famous Sephardic song that says, Addio querida, goodbye my love. You know, you were born to be with me and no one else. But, there's always that but. You've thrown me away, basically. You know, you've put me down and I can't take it anymore. Addio. Go find another love. Go find another hugger. Somebody. Because for me, you don't exist. Terrible. So it's I don't know, it's not unrequited love, it's sort of like, it is what it is. Addio, querida. Tu madre cuando te parió y te quitó el mundo, corazón ella no te dio para amar segundo. Corazón ella no te dio para amar segundo. You can hum. Adio, adio, querida, no quiero la vida, me la amargaste tú. Adio, adio, querida, no quiero la vida, me la amargaste tú. Va búscate otro amor, go find another love. Ajarva otras puertas, espera otro amor, que para mí sos muerta. Espera otro ardor, que para mí sos muerta. It's your turn, let's go together. La la la. La 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 la. Now with Ladino. Adio, adio, querida, no quiero la vida, me la amargaste. Thank you very much. I'm going to kill myself on this thing. Yalla, yalla, yalla. Oof. Okay. You have a program. What's next? Phil, shut up. Now, what does this song have to do with anything? Well, actually, it is a very funny song. Here's some English. The girl with the beautiful dark eyes was strolling down the street, her face lovely as the moon. It's a big thing in the Middle East and all that. She has a face like the moon. All right. And it lit up the boulevard. I wanted to speak to her, but she insulted me as her father was in the train station nearby. She hit me with her umbrella in response to my bonjour. I'll tell you what that's about. Why hit me, dear, when I'm so in love with you? If you want to show me your love, we must not quarrel. She says, and he says, all night I'll wait for you, even until dawn, and every morning thereafter, for the sake of our love. And she says, I lost that. I don't have the second page. Anyway, no. And she says, crazy boy, my father's right here. You can't come up to me like that. Ba, ba, ba. Okay. What's the big deal about this song? It is so famous that even I am singing it in 4 or 5 languages, and it's sung by Sephardim all over the world, but not just Sephardim. The entire Middle East has this tune with different words, Arabic, whatever tune you speak, whatever language you speak. So it became so famous, it's probably the most famous Sephardic tune, and not just Sephardic, Middle Eastern tune. It became so famous that the Sephardim do a part of the Hallel, the songs of praise that we sing in special festivals and Rosh Chodesh, etc. And they sing Odecha. So instead, which is already Arabic, and it's going into Italian and French and English. But the Jews took it and put it in the synagogue, in the Siddur. He goes, Hodecha ki ani tani vatehili lishua. And my shul, all Ashkenazim learned it, and they sing it, so it's good. So let's do Felshara. I'll try not to drown myself out, or for that matter, you. Joyce, I'm keeping her in the background here. Hello, Joyce. This is yet another example of 7/8 rhythm. And I forgot where it comes from, so I'm not even going to try to tell you. Okay. Felshara cadet bedish masha, la signorina Bosinois, come la luna e la sua faccia, qui éclaire le boulevard. Come la luna e la sua faccia, qui éclaire le boulevard. Because her father was a lagarde, et con su ombrella da rabetti, en réponse à mon bonsoir. Et con su ombrella da rabetti, en réponse à mon bonsoir. A lot of the Middle East speaks French, you know that, right? Ouch! Perché mai dire te trabini quando io te amo Kitty? And if you want the Herminia, parle de ne manquerie. And if you want the Herminia, parle de ne manquerie. Tutta la notte achlapiki, et même jusqu'au lever du jour. And every morning Astanaki, pour lever de notre amour. And every morning Astanaki, pour lever de notre amour. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Just making sure this is right, or if I'm right or wrong. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Now, there are many versions of 7/8. Do you have any idea what I mean? Some of you do. 7/8. Look, most music, like rock music, is in 4, right? Generally. Once in a while in 3, but 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So, da, 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 da. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the famous, the 6/8s and all that. But 7/8 is very Middle Eastern. And, well, where else? I don't think India has like 94 sixths or something. That's a totally different world. But the 7/8 is either 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2. And it throws a lot of people off, especially Americans. I've tried to get you guys to sing this song or any of these songs. Big mistake. Okay, so what song is this, by the way? Oh, yes, I remember it now. This is a very comic song, and it gets a little risque. So I won't say all the words, but it has to do like this. It says, what the hell? Yes. La comida de la mañana, the food in the morning. Oh, this is very interesting. I could talk to you about Ladino and why it's la comida de la mañana, which makes no sense, because it's the food, the morning. What does that mean? I'll tell you another time. La padre la traigo atrás, which means I'm going to take it upstairs and come back late so that my mother will know that I want to marry you. It says 1 hour I'm going to spend in the window, at the window. Very, very risque thing. You young girls at the window, it's like they're showing their wares. Otra hora en el balcón, another hour on the balcony. Que lo sepa la mi madre, that my mother will know que yo tengo mucho amor, that I am really, deeply in love. No se burle la mi madre. Hey, Mom, don't make a big deal out of this. Ella cuando era moza hizo amor con mi señor. When you were a young lady, you with my father. And then the mother says, and you'll know it's the mother because I'm going to imitate her a little bit. Sí, yo lo hice la mi hija. Yes, I did do that, my dear daughter. I did it with love, not like those girls today that go to the marketplace and come back only in pain. She got married. What's going to happen to you? You know. Remember, every age, every generation thinks the next one is going to, just blow up. I hope it doesn't happen. It hasn't yet, thank God. All right, except for the 60s. That was pretty crazy. It was nice to live then. All right. So la comida mañana. This is a cappella. Just give me a key, please. I'm warming up. I'm warning you. It's getting there. Again. Ah. La comida la mañana la traeré, la traigo atrás. La comida la mañana la traeré, la traigo atrás. Ella cuando era moza y me dejó posar. Quiero sepa la mi madre que yo quiero desposar. Una hora en la ventana, otra hora en el balcón. Una hora en la ventana, otra hora en el balcón. Que lo sepa la mi madre que yo tengo mucho amor. Que lo sepa la mi madre que yo tengo mucho amor. No se burle la mi madre, no se burle del amor. No se burle la mi madre, no se burle del amor. Ella cuando era moza hizo amor con mi señor. Ella cuando era moza hizo amor con mi señor. Ay, yeah. And the mother said, she was a little old, yo lo hice la mi hija, yo lo hice con la amor. Yo lo hice la mi hija, yo lo hice con la amor. Non son como los de agora que dejan con la dolor. Non son como los de agora que dejan con la dolor. La comida la mañana la traeré, la traigo atrás. La comida la mañana la traeré, la traigo atrás. Que lo sepa la mi madre que yo tengo mucho amor. Que lo sepa la mi madre que yo quiero desposar. Thank you. If you start getting bored, I want you to raise your hand, because, I didn't have much lunch. So. Yeah, this is a fun song. Are we doing this together?
I think so.
God willing. Da da di da 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 da. Yes? I'm ready. I don't know. Good, give me something. Oh, forgive me. Chamisha asar. What does that mean in Hebrew? Shai. Matalo, yeah. 15. What's 15? We just went through it. Tu Bishvat, betach. Tu Bishvat. This is a Tu Bishvat song. It says, Chamisha Asar. I made a recording, all of a shalom, thank God I had the privilege, with the dream of making a recording of folk songs in many languages with Theo Bikel. About 10 years ago? I don't know. I'm so old, it could have been 30 years ago, but it's not. It's about 10 years old. Give or take. And of course, he's gone. And we miss him terribly. But I kept singing at his birthdays. I sang at his 80, 85th, at his 9th. I said, this guy's, I'm afraid we all do. Chamisha asar, ven a vermos, vamos cantar. Hey, let's go see this 15. La balabaya. What's a balabaya in Yiddish? The balabuste, right? The balat habayit, right? La balabaya nos espera. She's waiting for us. Con 15 platos de fruta. With 15 plates of fruit. But it doesn't mean fruit. It meant mostly sweet things, with honey and all. Bendicho su nombre. Bendicho su nombre, Señor del mundo. Baruch atah Hashem, melech haolam. Get it? That's in Sfardi, and that's what we say. When we say Baruch atah Hashem, we say, Bendicho su nombre, Señor del mundo. Frutas de Israel, for the fruits, the beauty of the foods and the fruits of Israel. And this is a Tu B'Shvat song, so let's do it. Is it okay if I stand behind this microphone when I sing a little bit? Yeah, all right. Help me out here. Dum da dee dee dum dee 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 dum ready. Khamisha asar, en avermos vamos cantar. La balabaya moza espera con 15 platos de fruta. La balabaya moza espera con 15 platos de fruta. Bendicho su nombre, Señor del mundo, frutas de Israel. Bendicho su nombre, Señor del mundo, frutas de Israel. Khamisha asar, en avermos vamos bailar. Let's go dancing. La balabaya nos espera con la baklava y café. La balabaya nos espera con la baklava y café. Suplicio su nombre, Señor del mundo, frutas de Israel. Bendicho su nombre, Señor del mundo, frutas de Israel. Okay. Okay, I'm going to skip the next one because yours says Chad Gadya, right? Yeah, okay, there's a very beautiful, I want you to get the album of, oh, help me, Eretz Israel, who brought out the fantastic Ladino Sephardic Pesach album. No, he's a very famous guy. Huh? No, he did all the films in Eretz Israel. The young, now, come on, we have Israelis here. Mizrahi, huh? He played a very funny guy. He was the first guy. He was the funniest guy in the 50s or 60s. Hashem Shalom. No, he's on the radio now. He's still. Yoram Gaon, Maze, Yoram Gaon, Yalla. Thank you, Shai. I was going to kill myself. I swear. So Yoram Gaon put out a fantastic album of Sephardic Passover songs. And if you want something that'll put you in a mood, before Seder, because the mood before Seder is usually, I'm never going to do this again in my life. This has taken 6 months to prepare. All right. So, if you want to feel better, a little better, put on the Yoram Gaon and he'll keep you mellow, okay? It's so beautiful. I can't even begin. So he has, what did he have for Chad Gadya? I forgot the words, that's why. No, I just... Un cavretico que movekai padre por dos levanim. He does it so beautiful. Go get the album. It's still available. And I was going to give you a whole bunch of Kadeshu Rechatzes, but it really is going to scare everybody in the room because that means Pesach is coming. It is. Shh. All right. So I'm going to give you 3 versions, but I'm not going to sing the whole thing. I'm just going to give you an idea of what it's like. One is, what's the one that you all do that you don't? Well, some of you don't, but that it's usually the Ashkenazim will do this tune. Kadesh urechatz karepas yachas varirachza motzi matzah tirira. Right? Isn't that it? Zelo? Oh, maybe that's one of his. Kadesh Urechatz Karpas Yachatz. That's the baby. Magid Rachza Motzi Matzah Maror Korech. That's the Ashkenazim, but it's actually a Babylonian tune. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz. It's a Babylonian tune, very, very old, and beautiful, and it's accepted. But the other one I just sang is by Yoram Gaon does that one. That's magnificent. Kadesh Urechatz Karpas Yacha. Isn't that beautiful? And then the other one is, I can't remember. I will tell you there's an album which you probably can't find unless you go like looking, which is going to do that nowadays. Nobody buys albums to begin with. But you might find it on YouTube, right? So I had a recording that I made that actually was #1 in Chicago for like 6 weeks or something, and we were we're #1, and #2 was, I won't say it because it's not nice, because he's so much more famous than anybody I know, the violinist Perlman. Yitzhak Perlman did a klezmer album, right? Yeah. So we were #1, he was #2 in Chicago for about 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So in that album, which is called Chant Mystique, there was another album, Chant Mystique Encore, which we did after we sang this album with choir and everything at Orchestra Hall. Yeah, that's right. We sang it at Orchestra Hall, and then we took it to Ravinia. And for Ravinia, we wanted to sell something, because you make money on these things. And the Encore went there, but it's never been published for the general public. I hope to do it one day, because that's probably my opus, the one I can leave back and say, well, you want to hear this guy when he was really something, get that. So, but the Chant Mystique, we took all 3 of these Kadesh Urechatz and intermingled them in a harmony that I never imagined, but Mati Lazar, who's a very, very famous conductor in New York of Jewish music, put them together, and we had a male choir, and you cannot imagine the filigree. It really becomes Middle Eastern, you know what I mean? The filigree, the way they mash, because they're all based on the same words, and they're all pretty much from the same area. This was not an Ashkenazic thing. This was already Babylonian, moving to Iraq and all these other places. So, you just heard, that was that. Here we go. Now, this song has nothing to do with our subject this evening, except that it's by a Greek. And when I was 3, 4, and 5 years old, and still living where I was born, which is Athens, Greece, have you ever heard of Zapion, the park in the middle of Athens that was the royal garden? You guys have to go to Greece. I know you hear bad things about it. It's one of the most beautiful countries you have ever seen in your life. But, I mean, Athens is Athens. It's a city, but it's still beautiful. And the garden, so my parents used to take me down there because my mother had gone to school, music school. She was a singer, not a professional. But she was learning at the same time as Maria Callas in the same school. And at the same time was this guy named Nikos Gounaris, who was the troubadour of Greece for a long time. And this isn't actually the song I was going to do, but it doesn't matter because I took the tune from Nico. And this is a Gounaris tune that I made Hebrew so that I could sing it to the public because he named his version Allah. Now, nothing wrong with speaking about Allah. Muslims a word for God, right? What's wrong with that? But I can't do it as a chazan. What am I going to sing? Allah? They'll kill me. So, I didn't kill. You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. So I said, you know what? This song would make a wonderful Shalom Aleichem. So I did what the Hasidim have been doing for 500 years, taking tunes from anywhere, from the street, and making it holy. So I made a holy song out of Shalom of Allah, and became Shalom Aleichem. And this is really by Nico Gounaris. The difference is that he was a fabulous guitarist, so there was no B section. He sings the tune that you'll hear at the beginning, and then he plays but I needed a B section because the tune of Shalom Aleichem is long. So I wrote one. So now it's, Gounaris Mizrahi. Okay, it's fine. It's by both of us. Oh yeah, listen to this tune. Go, go, go. Listen to the tune. Now you're going to sing it about 12 times. Ready? Here we go. La, 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 la. Again, come on, let's go. You take instructions very well. I'll point. When I go like this, stop. You go like this, sing. This, sing big. I don't use this rhythm. Ready to go. La, la, la. Shalom. Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Wait a minute, I can do this. Boachem leShalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Great. Barchoni leShalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom Malachei HaShalom Ho Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now do it forever. Ready? I'm not going to stop you. Let's keep going soft. Shalom 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 I'll be giving a 6 p.m. Performance as well. Perhaps I'll be warmed up by then. All right. Okay. So you all have these sections in the program, right? Sephardic liturgy, songs of love, holiday songs, and nostalgia. Nostalgia because Shalom Aleichem, as I told you, when I was 3, 5 years old, whatever I was at the time, it was quite young. It's a lot younger than now, as I remember. And I sat on this man's knee, imagine him singing Allah to me, and I went, oh, I'll convert. No, it's not true. Okay, not true. All right. I lie a lot. Okay. So it became Shalom Aleichem. 2 more songs of nostalgia. One in Yiddish, because we got to have some Ashkenazim in here, right? I mean, like most of you? Yeah. Okay. And then one in Greek, because we're doing the Greek Jews, for goodness sake. So this is called Was ist gewohnt von mein Städtele. Anybody know this one? Whatever happened to my beautiful little town? And it's not a post-Holocaust song. It's not. It's more post early 19th century movement, this tremendous movement away from the pogroms of Europe, Central Europe, Eastern Europe. And it was written by a very interesting person who I never got to know, although she lived much of her life in Florida in her retirement. She thought she was retiring. She's written like hundreds of songs, hundreds. Her name was Manasuka, is the name she used, because when she started writing for Broadway and off-Broadway tunes, you couldn't be a woman. Times have changed a lot. So thank God. So she changed her name to Manazuka and became very, very wealthy and famous. And then she moved to down there, and she wrote a lot of Jewish songs. This one particularly touches me. And it says, when I reminisce about how it was when I was a child, at home in the shtetl, once upon a time, I recall how in those beautiful winter nights we used to stroll around and dream countless dreams. How things were so heartfelt, so beautiful then, when we used to pass by the shul, and I could hear the Cantor's sonorous voice resounding so piously from the walls, so emotively by the lectern. And then she remembers how the chazan sounded and what he did. So you'll hear the only chazonos of the evening. Havein Yakirli of Ephraim. And then she says, such a longing for bygone days has remained in my heart. Whatever became of my shtetl? Whatever became of my old home? Where I spent my youth, the alleyway, the little synagogue, the tree, the little dairy in the distance, will I ever see them again? Whatever became of my shtetl? Whatever became of my old home?
Wenn ich nehm der Monnen sich, wenn ich bin a Kind gewesen, in der Heim, in Städtele amol, in die schöne Winternacht, pflegen wir spazieren gehen, und choleben chaloimes Onazol. Oi, wie damals ist gewesen, so herzig, so schön, wenn ich fliegen, gehen vorbei die Schule. Und dem Chasens schöne Stimme hat geklingen, so friem, bei dem Omin mit groß Gefühl. Kuros roye Sono tacho shiftoe מעביר צוינו את החשיבתו תחוס שיבתו כבוא כרוזר ידרי מעביר צויני תחוס שיבתוי אוי מביצוינו תחוס שיבתוי מביצוינו תחוס שיבתוי תחוס שיבתוי אז bin König von früher geblieben ist in ihr Herz bei mir. Was ist geworden von mein Städtele? Was ist geworden von mein alter Heim? Wie es bänk ich noch mein Städtele, mein Jugend hab ich doch verbracht in dem. Das Geselle, das Schulechel, wie harzig und wie schön, das Bäumele, das Milchel, will ich es wenn noch sehen. Ist geworden von mein Städtele, was ist geworden von mein alter Heim. Das Geselle, das Schulechel, wie harzig und wie schön, das Bäumele, das Milchel, will ich es wenn noch sehen. Was ist geworden von mein Städtele? Was ist geworden von mein alter
Thank you. I should sing more Yiddish, obviously. I do. You have to come there, wherever it is. Okay, I'm going to do a cappella, as I recall, right? Just give me the... Okay. Another, we like to say in Yiddish, noch a 7/8, because I'm a Sephardi, and I like 7/8. All right. Usually I dance to it too, but wrong shoes, whatever. This is called Yerakina. Yerakina is a very interesting story, sad one, but in true Greek style, they made story and on a positive note. Baruch Hashem. What happened was back in a town called Yerakina, which is where? Is it it's way west in Greece. I know that. Small town. I don't think it's an island. I think it was part of that Patras, that whole thing. Sparta, Okay. Doesn't really matter, does it? There you go. In Yerakina, there was a young girl. She had a name, but they call her the Yerakina one, the one from Yerakina, right? So it says Yerakina got up and she went to fetch water, cold water, to refresh everyone. She got to the well, but she fell in And as she was falling, she put out a big sound of scream, a voice, and it says, drumu, drumu, drum. That's, they made it Greek, so it can be a tzirtaki, you know. So you'll hear some nonsense syllables, and then it says, Yerakina ta separo, which means I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to come get you, Yerakina, don't you worry, and I'm going to take you as my wife. She heard that in her last moments because she didn't make it. But it doesn't say that in the song. I thought you should know to be happy and not sad. Key, please. Ki dice Ierakina Ianero Crio na feri drum 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 Tavra Juliatis Frodun Tavra Juliatis Frodun Druga 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 drun 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 Che pese me scopigadi che vrale Fani megali druga druga drun 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 Tavra Juliatis Frodun Tavra Juliatis Frodun Druga 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 drun 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 Achaman aman aman Elado Echaman aman aman Yerakina Tha separo Ke hineka Tha sekano Druga druga drun 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 Tavra Juliatis Vrodun, Tavra Juliatis Vrodun, Druga 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 drun drun drun. Can you do that? Druga druga. Druga 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 drun drun drun. Tavra Juliatis Vrodun, Tavra Juliatis Vrodun, Druga 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 drun. Opa! Thank you. That was nostalgia. And this is not. Nostalgia to me means happy thoughts of old times. Your grandparents and you and your parents sitting over coffee, a couple of rilika, sweets, and telling stories, even bad ones, even dirty ones, whatever. But that wasn't that privilege of nostalgia and beauty was not afforded to many tens of thousands of Jews in Greece, and I'm not even going to touch how many Jews died in Poland, from Hungary, from Russia, from all the Lithuania, I mean, I don't even want to Ukraine. Let's not get into it because you can't stop. My father, Moises, came from a very poor family. That didn't mean that they weren't very close and loving and that they didn't do everything to raise their standard of living. He was born in Chios, which is an island off the coast of Turkey near Izmir, which we Greeks call Smyrna. Of course, we call Istanbul Constantinople to this day, and for good reason. It was Constantine's city, you know, so what are you going to say? He was working in Athens in a warehouse, and one day they received a note in the house saying, send someone down, send one of your children, your boys, whatever, to the synagogue, to get their matzah for this coming Seder. Signed, the Nazi commander of the city and some others. And my father took his youngest brother, Alberto, with whom he was inseparable, This is not going to be possible. Sorry. Yeah. Took him to the shul. The synagogue didn't call shul. It synagogue. Synagogue. That's where that, but it's Greek. You know that, right? Synagogue. So he took him to the shul. And as they were walking in, I don't know exactly what portion of the synagogue they were in, maybe the outside there. The synagogue's still there, by the way. It's a beautiful little shul. These trucks, these huge trucks, ran into Melidoni Street, which is where the synagogue is. And they took everybody in that hallway, the outside there of that synagogue, threw them in the trucks, took them to the trains, and sent them to Auschwitz. That day, that moment. I'm not going to go into the whole story of my father. My father was the strongest man I've ever known, as well as the kindest, sweetest, and most loving parent a person could have. I wasn't born, of course, because they weren't married yet, my parents. So he gets to Auschwitz with his brother Alberto, and they chose him, not immediately, I believe, but it was after the first group of Greeks blew up crematorium number 3, and then they killed those guys, and they took another group of Greeks, and my father was one of them, to become Sonderkommandos. You don't want to know what Sonderkommandos did, but you should. In any case, people who were in the camps are afraid of Sonderkommandos, and they didn't. But the truth is that they were doing. Anyway, they were heroes in their own way. There are many stories. But one of the heroic things my father did was throw potato peels over the fence so that his brother could eat and stay alive. It's the only thing they could eat. My father had the right, as a Sonderkommando, to go to the garbage cans and get the peels. And the Russians started coming in, and they were blowing up the crematoria and taking everybody on a forced march. It was actually a run in which many people died because they couldn't run anymore, and they would fall, and the Nazi would just shoot them in the head and keep moving. And to make a very long story short, my father, who was weaker than his brother, because his brother didn't have to do the unbelievable work and horribleness, his brother saw him through this march, and they got to the train, and his brother died. Alberto died on one of those train cars, and from frozen and no food, and that's who I'm named after. And then starts the story of how my father was eventually repatriated. Oh my God, it's a book. As you all, if any of you are survivors, you have a book to write. All of you. If your parents were survivors, you have their book to write. Anyhow, he got back to Greece. The Russians eventually repatriated him back to Greece, married my mother. It's kind of ironic also that his brother-in-law, actually not his brother-in-law, he wasn't married yet, my mother's sister's husband was also sent down to get these matzah. But he was a happy guy, and he saw a friend of his. He says, hey, let's have a coffee before, So they sat by Cafenillo, like outside of the street. And they saw these trucks running in and everything. He says, I'm not going down there. And they went home, and he was saved. Okay, you want to know stories? That's the one that puts me into a coma, so I'll stop now. My grandmother Stella, my Aunt Chara, and with her child, Anna, and my mother, who was not married, were hidden and protected by two brave sisters, Poppy Kurelis and Eleftheria Mitchell. Mitchell was her name when she got married. I don't know, she was never married, so I don't know if Mitchell may have been her name, who knows. Anyway, Poppy and Eleftheria, when you had people staying in your house, like 4 extra people, there used to be much more laundry outside on the thing. And there were certain people who may not have been the nicest people who would report the fact to the Nazi authorities. And they did, and they came to the door, and they knocked on the door, and I don't know which one of these it was. I think it was Poppy, because my mother used to talk about Poppy as her, like the sister she didn't have. Well, she did have a sister, but this was the sister that she should have had also. And Poppy looks at these guys in the face, and they said, that stuff, and She says, what Jews? She says, what are you, crazy? This is my aunt, my uncle. And she had like a roll for each of the people in the room. And he says, what are you going to take my family? You're good Christians? Crazy out of your mind? And she saved their lives. They walked away. And of course, they had to move out that night, because God forbid they should come back. But even Poppy didn't get, retribution. So that's how my mother was saved. And there's a long story about that too. Of course, there's another family. Oh my God. There's another apocryphal story about, you wanted to know about my family, right? This is what the Greeks went through. This is only in Athens. Forget what happened in Thessaloniki, where they took 53,000 people into gas chambers. How can you even imagine such a thing? So her youngest brother was named Victor, and he was a wild man. And he worked with the Andartes, the guys in the hills that fought. What is it called? Guerrillas. Guerrillas. He fought the Nazis as a guerrilla in Greece. And he heard that my mother was being married to a non-Jewish boy. Like that only happens to 70% of non-Orthodox people here in America. So, but in those days, that was a big deal. And it still is, but in those days, it was something. And he decided, because he was crazy, that he would go into town with one of his friends and a submachine gun in his coat and abduct her, which he did before the ceremony. He went upstairs and he abducted her in front of my uncle, who also was a non-Jew, who was married to my mother's aunt, right? Yeah, I don't remember. Maria was her aunt. And took her to the hills and found her a place nearby in the big mountain there, Bedeli. And she went through the war that way. And when my father got back, and there were about 6 people of marriageable age alive. I'm making that number up as a joke, but it's not funny. And they were introduced, and they met, they married, and then they had me, and then eventually they fell in love. I say that as a joke because it is a joke. They were so deeply in love their entire lives. It was really something for a man who had that experience. Believe me, it's not, I think most of them wanted to just die. They'd rather die than have to do what they did. I think that's enough. What do you think? I have the most kind of bright thing that I can talk about is my wife and I and my daughter and her fiancé went to Greece in October. We go once a year or so because I still have a small family there, and they're the only family I have, except the Israeli family, which is my father's side, which is fine. But it's nice to have. Besides, I speak Greek even better than Hebrew, so Baruch Hashem. And I go to Israel too, so. Anyway, so we went to Greece, and there's a magnificent Christian cemetery called Athens Number 1. They numbered them, number 1, number 2, number 3. It's magnificent. It's like, have you been to Buenos Aires to see what's her name's grave, the famous Eva Peron, everybody goes to Eva Peron's grave. It's an unbelievable cemetery. I've never seen anything like that. In Russia, I didn't go, but my wife went in Moscow to see, unbelievable. Well, this is not quite that, but it's very beautiful, and it's kept by the Greek church, and they take it seriously, very, very seriously. Next to it, through a wall with a small door, is a not very well kept, has nothing to do with the Christians. This is not their responsibility. It's the responsibility of the Jewish community. Problem is there's only 700 Jews in Athens, or maybe 1,000 by now. So they do take care of it. Everybody takes care of their own, families, but there's no one to take care of my father's. And I didn't even know, not my father, but his brother, the one you don't know about, his oldest brother who died in, do you ever hear of the yellow fever epidemic back in 1929? His father and oldest brother, died of that a week apart. I didn't know that. I also didn't know they were buried there. We were looking for my mother's great-grandfather, who would be my great-grandfather, who was a shochet. He may have been the first shochet in the 20th century in Greece. And they have actually the cutting thing and the board on his gravestone. So I was looking for that, looking, and it's not a big thing, so you can go to every stone. And I was giving up. And we walked all the way to the back fence, and was it you that found it first or me? I don't remember. But we were looking, and all of a sudden it says, this is Isaac Mizrahi. Well, my father had told me that when they came from Turkey, they felt the name was too Jewish, Mizrahi. So he changed it a little bit to Mizrahi. I'd forgotten, but all of a sudden, there's my grandfather, and there's his son. Died 1 week exactly apart from that disease. But that's amazing, because for me, that's a connection. You know, don't we all need a connection to our families, especially if we've lost them. So I brought a song by Judy Frankel. The lyrics aren't like, I wouldn't say really poetic, but they are Ladino, which is, of course, you know Ladino, right? The 14th, 15th century Spanish, Castilian mostly, but other two, that is spoken by the Sephardim as opposed to the Yiddish that Ashkenazim speak. We speak Ladino. So this was written in Ladino very recently, like 20 years ago or something, 25, and I'd like to sing it. It says, "Oh, my brothers, how they died." And it mentions most, if not all, the cities and towns in Greece that were made Judenrein. God forbid that should ever be repeated, that word, by the Nazis. This is, "O mis hermanos, O my brothers."
Oh, mis hermanos, cómo se fueron. Oh, mis hermanos, hermanos, Grecia. De Salónica y de Larissa y de Kavala, de Xanthi y Rhodos y de la Drama y de Atena y Comotini y de las islas.
The beautiful islands.
Las islas de Grecia.
Sí, ya sabemos cómo guerrearon como partisanes en Macedonia, y ya oímos del único que quedó vivo en la corajosa revolta de Auschwitz 44. Yes, we remember that they fought as guerrillas, even in Macedonia and other places. And that one person that survived the rebellion in Auschwitz of 1944, the one Greek Jew.
Oh, mis hermanos, solo muerto en tierra llena, una
Sorry, I can't see.
una muerte crudele, non vos olvido.
We will not forget them.
No nos olvido. Tus corazones son con nosotros. Siempre por siempre. En tierra santa, la tierra santa, Yerushalayim.
gotten very late. I apologize. Wow. I'm sorry. I thought it would be an hour. I'm going to sing a very, very short tune to Ani Ma'amin, I believe, in a complete faith for the coming of the Messiah. It's always something nice to think about. I was taught this at the bar mitzvah of the son of Eli Wiesel. I was lucky enough to be a friend, and through Mati Lazar, a very good friend, and the choir sang, and I did some solos, and then he taught us this song, which was the Vishnitzer Rov, the rabbi of Vishnitz, who, by the way, survived the war, which I found out later, but it was his tune for Ani Ma'amin, so I'd like to sing this to you a cappella, of course. And then we're going to have a memorial prayer in Hebrew, and I think that's it. Thank God. Okay. And I'm sorry if I kept you too long.
Ani Ma'amin be'emuno Bevias HaMoshiach Ani Ma'amin Be'emuno Shelemo Bevias HaMoshiach Be'emuno Shelemo Bevias HaMoshiach Ve'afal pi she'yismameya Achakeloi bechol yom sheyavo Ve'afal pi she'yismameya Achakeloi bechol yom sheyavo Ani Ma'amin be'emuno
Please rise. Please rise.
El male rachamim shochein bameromim dayan almanot ve'avi yetomim hametzei menucha nechona tachat kanefei hashchina bemalot kedoshim utarim kezohar rakia mazehirim et nishmot rivevot alefei anashim nashim vetov שנהרגו שנשחטו, שנשרפו, שנחנקו, ושנקברו חיים בידי הנאצים הגרמנים המרצחים הרשעים ועוזריהם ומוגי לב, יימח שמם. בעבור שכולנו מתפללים לעילוי נשמותיהם ותצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם ארץ אל תכסי דמם אדוני הוא נחלתם וינוחו בשלום על משכבותם ונאמר O God exalted, full of compassion, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure who shine like the glow of the firmament. To the souls of the thousands of innocent men, we can say millions, women and children, who were murdered, who were slaughtered, burned, choked, buried alive at the hands of the Nazis, all their friends and helpers, those cowardly murderers. We pray for our people's beautiful souls. May their repose be in the Garden of Eden. Master of mercy, shelter them in the shelter of your wings for eternity. And may their souls be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is their portion. May they rest in peace. Let us all say, Amen. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Please.
Let's give a round of applause. Thank you. We have a period of time to be with us. Bear with me.